Assalamu alaikum. This is Btv Chattogram welcoming you all to the English news from Btv Chattogram. Let's begin with the headlines. Foreign currency reserve on the rise due to increase in remittance flow and export earnings, taking the gross reserve to $25 billion. Discipline in banking sector and institutional good governance must continue to consolidate economic foundation, says Finance Advisor Dr. Saliuddin Ahmed. Information and Broadcasting Advisor Mohammad Nahid Islam stresses a need for structural reforms to tackle road accidents alongside ensuring discipline in road transport sector. Third Namaja Janaja of Civil Aviation and Tourism Advisor A.F. Hassan Arif held at Secretariat premises, while second Namaja Janaja at Supreme Court premises. At least 21 Palestinians killed and 61 others injured in Israeli attacks across Gaza during last 24 hours. And Bangladesh to face India in the final of the Under-19 Women's T20 Asia Cup tomorrow. Viewers, those were the headlines. Now moving on to the details. The foreign currency reserve of Bangladesh is on the rise due to increase in the flow of remittance and export earnings recently. As a result, now the gross reserve has stood at $25 billion, while the net reserve is approximately $20 billion. According to the report of Bangladesh Bank published, the net reserve of foreign currencies increased by $122 crore in 20 days, while the gross reserve increased by $50 crore. The central bank is hopeful that the volume of gross reserve will stand at $25 billion and the net reserve will cross $20 billion by this month. The inflow of remittance increased by nearly 26% between July and November this year. On the other hand, export volume increased by 8.5% between July and October. Finance Advisor Dr. Saliuddin Ahmed said in order to consolidate the economic foundation of the country, discipline in banking sector and institutional good governance have to be continued. He said this at a function in Dhaka today organized to uncover the Banking Almanac's 6th edition. Bangladesh Bank helped publish it. Economist Dr. Hussain Zulur Rahman presided over the event. Finance Secretary Khairuzaman Majumdar, Deputy Governor Nurun Nahar and banking personality Abdul Hai Shorkar took part in the discussion. The finance advisor said properly updated information of the banking sector helps investors decide on investments. He stressed the need for more research and publications in this regard. Post Telecommunication and ICT, as well as Information and Broadcasting Advisor Mohammad Nahid Islam, has stressed the need for structural reforms to tackle road accidents alongside ensuring discipline in the road transport sector. He said this today at a national dialogue on the institutional management and structural reforms to establish discipline in the road transport sector. The Road Safety Foundation organized it. Road Safety Foundation Chairman Professor Dr. A.I. Muhammad Huddin presided over the function. Director General of Bangladesh Press Institute Farooq Wasif, National Dialogue Arrangement Committee's Convener Shamsul Huda, Member Secretary Saidur Rahman, as well as representatives of different organizations took part in the dialogue. Information and Broadcasting Advisor Nahid Islam said the public transport sector turned into a den of extortion, corruption, and anarchy during the rule of Awami League government. So reforms are necessary to ensure institutional efficacy and accountability for restoration of discipline in road transport sector, he added. Second Namaja Janaja of Civil Aviation and Tourism Advisor to the interim government, A.F. Hassan Arif, was held at Supreme Court premises this morning. The longtime colleagues, friends, and well-wishers of Hassan Arif, a senior lawyer of the Supreme Court, bade him farewell when his body was kept at the Supreme Court premises this morning. Chief Justice Said Rifat Ahmed, Foreign Affairs Advisor Muhammad Tawhid Hussain, senior lawyers Barrister M. Amirul Islam, and Dr. Kamal Hussain, Chief Election Commissioner A.M.M. Nasiruddin, and Supreme Court Bar Association President Barrister A.M. Mahabubuddin Khokon, Chief Prosecutor of the International Crimes Tribunal M.D. Tajul Islam, and cross-section of people attended the Janaja. Meanwhile, Saida Rizwana Hassan, the advisor to the Ministries of Environment, Forest and Climate Change as well as Water Resources, was also present at the court premises. She said and paid tribute to her late cabinet colleague by placing wreath to the coffin. Later, the third Namaja Janaja of A.F. Hassan Arif was held at the Secretariat premises. Senior Secretary of the Public Administration Ministry, Khosrou Rahman, was present among others. Now, international news. At least 21 more Palestinians were killed in Israeli attacks in the Gaza Strip, bringing the overall death toll since last year to 45,227, the health ministry in the enclave said today. A ministry statement added that some 107,573 others were injured in the ongoing assault. Israeli forces killed 21 people and injured 61 others in 3 massacres of families in the last 24 hours, the ministry said. Many people are still trapped under the rubble and on the roads as rescuers are unable to reach them, it added. Meanwhile, UNICEF also warned that children in Gaza are suffering from cold-related diseases. The agency also said 96% of women and children in the war-torn region are unable to meet their basic nutritional needs as winter sets in. A senior diplomat has announced that the United States is dropping a $10 million reward for the arrest of Syria's new leader, Ahmed al-Sara, after an uprising that toppled President Bashar al-Assad. Assistant Secretary of State for Near Eastern Affairs Barbara Leaf made the announcement after she and her other U.S. officials visited the Syrian capital, Damascus, to hold talks with the new Syrian administration. It was the first visit by U.S. diplomats to Syria since al-Assad was removed from power earlier this month in a lightning offensive led by the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham HTSS group. Leaf said the U.S. decided to drop the reward for al-Shara after receiving positive messages, including a promise to ensure that terrorist groups cannot pose a threat. The Israeli military says it failed to intercept a missile from Yemen claimed by Houthi rebels that fell in the Tel Aviv-Jaffa area. The military reported the attack on its Telegram channel, stating that one projectile launched from Yemen was identified after sirens went off in central Israel and the unsuccessful interception attempts were made. A spokesperson for Yemen's Houthis confirmed the group had hit a military target in the Jaffa area with a ballistic missile. Israel's Emergency Medical Service, Megan David Adam, MDA, said in a statement that 16 people were mildly injured by glass shards from shattered windows in nearby buildings. The Houthi attack on Israel came after the latter's air attacks and strikes on the Yemen-claimed capital, Sana'a, and the port city of Hodeidah on Thursday, which killed at least 9 people. Now, weather news. The depression over West Central Bay and adjoining area moved northeastwards slowly and now lies over the same area and was centered at about 1,175 kilometers southwest of Chattogram Port, 1,125 kilometers southwest of Cox's Bazar Port, 1,050 kilometers southwest of Mongla Port, and 1,050 kilometers southwest of Pyra Port, according to the special weather bulletin published 6 p.m. today. It is likely to weaken gradually. Sea will remain rough near the depression center and rain may persist over the region. Maritime ports of Chattogram, Cox's Bazar, Mongla, and Pyra have been advised to keep hoisted distant cautionary signal number 1. All fishing boats and trawlers over North Bay and Deep Sea have been advised to remain close to the coast and proceed with caution until further notice. They're also advised not to venture into the Deep Sea. Now, sports news. Cricket. Bangladesh will face India tomorrow morning in the final of the Under-19 Women's T20 Asia Cup. The match will start tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Bangladesh time in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Earlier, Bangladesh reached the final defeating Nepal by 9 wickets in the last match of the Super 4, and Indian girls reached the final after defeating Sri Lanka by 4 wickets. That's all from the newsroom. To end the